class, it's Mrs. Cook here. I hope you're doing well. I'm here today to read you a story, and it is called Belle by Virginia Lee Burton. Belle is about a cable car, which is a type of transportation out in San Francisco, California. California is a state on the west coast of the United States, and we are on the east coast, so we'd have to fly all the way across the country to get there. Some of you may have been before, and some of you maybe not, but I'm sure one day might get there. So get comfortable and let's get started on our story. Belle was a cable car, a San Francisco cable car. Cling, clang, clingety clang, up and down and around she went. San Francisco is very hilly, lots of steep hills. Belle had a bell on top. Rang 2 to go and 1 to stop. Underneath she had a grip to grab the cable under the street. She had 3 different kinds of brakes, one for the wheels, one for the track, and an emergency brake to jam in the slot so she could stop whenever she needed to. Belle had a grip man and a conductor. The grip man pulled the levers, pushed the pedal, and rang the bell for Belle to stop or go. The conductor collected the fares, called out the streets, and helped with the rear wheel brakes when the hills were very steep. So Belle had a lot of helpers on there to get all the jobs done. Fares, please. Ting, ting, let's go. Not too fast and not too slow. Stop at the crossing, wait for the light. Then ride the cable right up to the top. Stop and look at the view. Down again to the end of the line. Turn around and do it again. Fares, please. Ting, ting. Let's go. No hill too steep, no load too heavy, always cheerful and most polite. She rang her gong and sang her song from early morn till late at night. She's a busy cable car. Even late at night, to early morn, Belle rested with her sisters in the big green barn. Born in San Francisco long ago, they had watched their city change and grow. The new came in, the old go out, while they remained the same. At night, while the city slept, they exchanged the news of the day or played the game, Remember When? Until it was time to go out again. Remember when the city was small, when everyone knew everyone else, and nobody hurried or worried? Those were the good old times. Remember when mansions crowned the hills, when our family was large and rich and famous, the pride of the city and the joy of the people? Those were the good old days. Remember the Sunday afternoon rides out to the public parks and beaches, and the all-day outings on holidays? Those were the merry old times. They seldom remember the terrible fire which destroyed the city overnight. Instead, they remembered how quickly the city rebuilt and grew some more. They remembered when many of the cable lines were changed into electric lines, and they remembered the first horseless carriage and how people laughed and yelled, "Get a horse!" That was a long time ago. Now the streets were crowded with traffic, and everyone hurried and seemed to be worried. Electric trolleys and gasoline buses had replaced almost all of the old family lines. Belle and her sisters worked for the city. The city had been so busy growing, she had neglected her little cable cars, and they needed a new coat of paint. Belle was always first out in the morning and last to come in at night. She loved her city, and she loved her work, but most of all, she loved the people. Belle's hill was very steep and very slippery when wet. Even taxi cabs stayed off this hill in damp or foggy weather. That is steep. But no hill was too steep for Maybelle. No matter the weather, wet or dry, she could not slip, she had her grip, and 3 kinds of brakes besides. Ding, ding, ding. When visitors came from the rest of the world to see the sights of the city, they admired the beautiful views, the 2 big bridges, the public buildings and parks and zoos. But what they liked the most of all was to ride on a little cable car. They paid no attention to the trolleys and buses because they had plenty of those at home. This made Big Bill the bus just a bit jealous. After all, he boasted, I'm bigger and stronger and newer and faster. His route ran by the city hall, and he knew the city fathers. One day, as Maybelle was going along, taking her time and singing her song, Big Bill honked his horn and hooted, out of my way, you little old cable car. I just heard the city fathers say the cable cars must go, that you're too old and out of date, much too slow, and can't be safe. And worst of all, you don't make money. What they want is speed and progress. Poor little cable car, too bad you're not a bus. And he ground his gears and shoved his way into traffic, leaving a trail of gasoline fumes. And Maybelle, sad and unhappy. Bill the bus is not very nice, is he? Oh me, oh my, oh dearie me, if this is true, what shall we do? Anyway, I'd rather be me a little old cable car than a great, big, old, clumsy, old, stuffy old bus, she said as she choked on the gasoline fumes. Of course she didn't say this out loud because she was much too polite. The rest of the day seemed long and dreary. Maybelle's heart was sad and weary. The hills too high, the load too heavy, her bell rang wrong. Dong ding, dong ding. Poor Maybelle. Soon the news leaked out from City Hall what the city fathers planned to do. Some people said, too bad. Hate to see them go. Progress, I suppose. Others sighed and said, we'll miss them. What a pity for our city to lose our cable cars. If we lose them, we'll be like any other city, one person said. Why do we have to? Why can't we decide? So they called a public meeting in the public library and all the friends of the cable cars and called themselves the Citizens Committee to Save the Cable Cars. Look at all the people. They're interested in saving the cable cars because they think it makes their city pretty neat. Letters and telegrams poured in from all over the world, begging the city fathers to keep the cable cars. The Citizens Committee stormed City Hall, demanding a chance for the people to vote, to answer the question yes or no. Shall the city keep her cable cars? Just sentimental talk. Besides, you need to have a petition to put the question on the ballot. No sooner said than done. The people signed a petition and presented it to City Hall. So the fate of Maybelle and her sisters was put on the ballot as question 1. The Citizens Committee got busy with posters and parades. Save the cable cars! Every day there were speeches and the people started taking sides. Some said yes and some said no. But nobody said perhaps or maybe. The no people had facts and figures, and the yes people answered with more. The no people made more noise, and the yes people worked harder. So you had some people that wanted to keep the cable cars and some people that didn't mind if they went away. So somehow they had to figure it out. Big Bill the bus was sure he'd win so late at night. While the city slept, he crept out to practice climbing Maybelle's hill. Up and down, stop and start. Nothing to it, boasted Bill. What's all the fuss about this hill? Then came one damp and foggy night when Big Bill tried to stop halfway down. What do you think happened? He slipped. He slid. He turned around. Phew, that was close, groaned Bill. I don't think I like this hill. It was trickier than he thought. At last, election day arrived when the people would decide by vote whether the cable cars would stay or go. The polls opened at 7 in the morning and closed at 8 at night. No more speeches, no more talking, just one vote from each and every one could tell what the answer would be. The people stood around quietly and waited for the votes to be counted. Maybelle waited, Big Bill waited, the whole city waited to see what the answer would be. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight. Hooray, shouted the people. The answer is yes. The cable cars have won, 3-1. Hooray for the cable cars. Long may they live. Hooray! The cable cars stay. They gathered around Maybelle and covered her with flowers. They turned her around and all climbed on. No fares, please, Ting Ting. Let's go. This ride's on me and free for all. It reminded Maybelle of the good old days when everyone knew everyone else and life was happy. Home went Maybelle, clangety clang, ringing her gong and singing her song. Good news, ting ting, good news she sang. Our day's not done, it's just begun. Yay for Maybelle! All right, friends, well, I hope you enjoyed our story, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Have a great rest of the day.